All right. Good morning, everybody. We've got the lovely Simphiwe Mtetwa, the not so lovely Gareth Cliff, and the also not so lovely Ryan Tinder.
There we
How
go.
are you, Ryan?
Let's
Ryan,
go.
let me introduce. Yeah, don't worry. You don't get a great intro like the lovely. This not your first time on the show. All right, so let me just explain who Ryan is to a couple of people. Ryan's been working with us for a long while now. When did you actually start? It was like what, sort of end of last year?
Yeah. About September, I'd say.
Yeah.
I was on the MKT show. Yeah.
There we go. He was working with Bulelo for a long time, and he's been doing some video and some other stuff for us recently. He's also been kind of producing along with Simphiwe and Gary on this show a little bit and doing a lot of the social media stuff. So we thought we'd introduce you to him so you know who the hell you're dealing with. That's what we like to do on the show. People want to know who's who in the zoo, so we try to introduce everybody in some way, shape, or form. And I have to warn everyone this morning that because today we're doing a little housekeeping, in a very literal sense, we're also going to have the great Jane Malachi on now. This is some people's favorite thing. She has always been a real source of great entertainment at Cliff Central, and Jane continues to be one of those people who polarizes everybody at Cliff Central. You either love Jane or you shut the fuck up is basically the only rule. And Jane will be joining us later on. So Jane is actually looking for a part-time piece job as well, because she's recently decided she needs more to do, and she wants to find the ideal job. So I said to her, well, you know what? There's no one better to ask than the people who listen to this show. So we're going to be chatting to Jane Malachi later on, which is going to be very exciting. Yeah. So Ryan, all right, give everybody a little brief background about you so that they can ask all the really serious personal questions straight after you've told us this stuff.
So I'm a producer by trade. I got my diploma from the Academy of Sound Engineering in 2017 or 2018. And I have a fascination with radio. I had like a radio show in high school. And then I decided to try out podcasting. And so I actually do music and podcasting. But I just love the entertainment industry. So
and then for your sins, you ended up working with us. So, I mean, what a horrible outcome that must have been. You were getting excited about radio.
All right.
All right. Well, I mean, it's you know what? It's a Wednesday morning. We're going to keep you busy this morning, keep you entertained, hopefully keep you informed as well. Got a lot to talk about. I promise that we won't talk a lot about sport because I will fall asleep. But Ryan does want to bring up something about Benny McCarthy, because I mean, you would be the only one who'd know this on the show. Simphiwe, do you know about him just signing as the first head coach for Man United, the first team head coach for Man United? Because I didn't know any of this.
I did. It was trending on Twitter. That's the only reason why I know.
I'm not even on Twitter, so I'm so out of it. So what does that even mean? Ryan, what the hell is the first team head coach? Is that the main guy? That's not the...
Yeah, it's pretty much he doesn't manage the team, but he's the first team trainer. So I was having a chat with Greg yesterday, and he just found it hilarious how Benny McCarthy is training one of the greatest players in the world. And then he looks,
I don't find it hilarious.
He's not in shape exactly.
Yes, I don't even know what it means. Okay, so Benny McCarthy, a lot of people give him shit because he's a bit fat, right? But he obviously, we don't appreciate him as much as they do. That's the story.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I was like, it's actually, say what you like, it is very impressive that a South African footballer is now the head coach for Manchester United.
Yeah. No, I think that's
Do you think he'll do a good job?
I think so. From what I was told yesterday, it sounds like he gets along with a lot of the players, including Cristiano Ronaldo. But
why do you say it like that? Are you not a fan?
No, I'm not a fan of Ronaldo. But God, I'm not a United fan. Everyone knows this. I'm a Chelsea fan here.
Well, nobody cares. Nobody cares who you support, but I'm sure that Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to have sleepless nights about you not supporting him either.
No,
really breaks
so.
a lot.
But I just found it interesting. There's a lot of South Africans making it in the big leagues now. You know what I mean? We got Elon Musk on his way to being the first trillionaire, I think.
Yeah.
We have all the obvious ones. We got Trevor Noah on The Daily Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've got a princess in Monaco who's in prison. Well, she's being held captive by her husband. We've got a famous Hollywood actress. Has she decided what gender her child is yet, Charlize? Because I know that was a big thing a while ago. Yeah. That really put me off her. I mean, obviously she's been hankering for me for the longest time. So now, she's heartbroken as well, just like Cristiano Ronaldo's destroyed to hear that you don't love and support him.
Yeah.
This Charlize Theron, she was really devastated when she heard that I didn't love her anymore because she was turning a boy child into a girl or something. I don't really I don't know what I'm going to do now. I mean, I thought we were destined for each other. What can I say?
Yeah, no, it wasn't for me either.
Cut your losses now, Gareth. It's over. But yeah, so, Brian, you brought up something interesting. I think there's a lot of South Africans doing big things. We have Black Coffee working with Drake.
He's filling out how's that one?
Yes, he's just doing bigger and greater things. But I'm also liking, as you guys know, I listen to Amapiano, and I'm loving the fact that the sound that originated in South Africa is going international, with the likes of like Uncle Waffles, being being booked
Uncle
to play.
I'm so glad you got Uncle Waffles. Who the fuck is Uncle Waffles?
I also want to know this actually.
It is a female DJ.
Her name is Uncle Waffles?
Yeah, that's her stage name, Uncle Waffles. And she is filling out stadiums. Yeah. Well, not stadiums, but she's filling out festivals internationally. Drake is a huge fan of Uncle Waffles. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's in America very, very soon working with Drake, because he has a huge crush on her. And yeah, like she's doing the things. And also just the Amapiano guys are doing international things. They're playing at you still not remember the name.
I really am just blown away. Every morning I learn something new. There is
that's why she's good. She's such a she's one of those. I have to put this out there.
She's not what I expected Uncle Waffles to look like. I thought Uncle Waffles was like some drunk guy who makes the children's party awkward by getting hammered and like inappropriately touching one of the aunts.
Oh no, she is one of those. You must not listen to her sets. You cannot listen to her sets. You need to watch her. She is such a vibe. She literally performs as she's playing the songs, and she's just like dancing, and she's like she is amazing. So if you ever see Uncle Waffles perform, you're going to be amazed. And she's doing big things. I think she's like 21, and she's already like playing at like Afro Nation in Portugal. And yeah, like there's a whole like Amapiano people just doing international things from Kabza to Maphorisa. So shout out to them as well.
I'm very pleased that you brought up Maphorisa as well, but there are plenty of South Africans. Now you've taught us something. Every time I come onto the show, there's something new I learn, and it's always unexpected stuff that I'll never use. But Uncle Waffles,
Yeah.
So Dogozo here is already climbing in where you left a huge gap, Ryan, and says he's the first team striker coach, not the head coach. But yes, Ben is a legend. Sanele goes on to clarify and says the first team strikers coach is the guy who trains the guys that score the goals. The head coach is the goalkeeper coach. I don't know.
Okay, why are there so many coaches?
Oh no, sorry. Head coach is the GP, goalkeeper coach is the dentist, strikers coach is the psychologist. Okay, so basically he's trying to explain it in terms of medicine to me. Which, I mean, if you'd only done that, Ryan, we would have had you on the show many weeks ago.
Yeah, really. Medicine isn't my specialty.
Your explanations are terrible, really. Uncle Waffles sounds like a kids show that ends up having a massive pedo scandal decades later. Hey kids, it's Uncle Waffles. That's what it sounds like. But I mean, when you've seen her, it's completely unexpected. She doesn't look like a creepy pedo uncle at all.
She's absolutely gorgeous. Like, I'm like, yes, I see what Jake sees in her, and she's a flame. a
All right.
huge flame.
All right. You learn something new.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day. I love SIM card. You're a huge light. Wish you were on more often. Well, she's on every week. What do you want, Ruth? I mean, I've been telling Simphiwe to start her own show for months. Have you made any progress on that?
Yes, we have, Gareth. I'm glad to say
Yeah.
that we
Well,
are cooking something up. We literally, like, honestly, I'm not
Didn't
just
we
saying that
discuss this?
because of
We
the sake
discussed
of
this with
saying
you
that.
3 months ago, and I'm still waiting. You know what TikTok stands for? You know what it is, Simphiwe? It's not that social media site that China runs. TikTok is the sound of your life running away from you while you're being given an opportunity and not taking it with both hands. Where is the Simphiwe Mtetwa show?
It is coming. It is. I can even tease it a bit to give you like the
No, don't, 'cause
premise of the show.
We're gonna wait another
No,
3
you're
months.
not.
TikTok. All right, go
But
on.
it
Tease
is coming. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the show is going to be about me and Mesh speaking to young creatives about being in the creative industry and doing all
Okay.
things creative. All right.
Very good.
So it's definitely something you guys would want to listen to. You know, we have your most favorite YouTubers, TikTokers, people that are in
Excellent.
photography, authors, everyone in the creative space. We're going to be talking to them. So look out
All
for
right.
that.
And I've started the countdown. So are we gonna
Soon
have
and
this-
very soon.
are we
Have
gonna
you
have
seen
this
Simphiwe's setup?
Is this going to be before August? The end of August?
Way before August.
Okay, all
I
right.
mean, it is Women's Month, so
Yeah.
that's also
Well-
a bit of incentive to drop things.
I'm waiting with bated breath. So there we go. Ruth and everybody else who loves having Simphiwe on the show, she's going to soon be doing her own thing with MASH on Cliff Central. Stick around for that show. It's going to be amazing. All right. So a couple of people talking in the comments that Demi Lovato has now changed her pronouns back to she, her. If that is not an attention-seeking endeavor, I don't know what
Oh,
is.
Lord.
Pathetic. You know, the problem is that these people who do these things, they really are attention seekers. They're not actually to be taken seriously, which is why I feel so sorry for parents who take them seriously and then, end up having to change it all back a year later. It's very, very disturbing. Really, these people are not to be treated as serious people. And also, if you're going to do this stuff and you go through with the gender reassignment surgery or whatever else it is, and then you change your mind later on, the damage is done. So I think you've got to be super careful about this. And we make jokes about like Caitlyn Jenner and everybody else on the show, but it's actually a very serious thing. And I think a lot of people's lives can be ruined by it. If you don't think it through really carefully and you don't make the decisions for the right reasons, if you have to make them at all, I mean, you're going against biology, you're going against the way you were raised. You're making extraordinarily difficult decisions. And as the great Christopher Hitchens used to say, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So if the only evidence that you've got that you're transgender is the way you feel, I'm afraid that's not extraordinary evidence. You need to go back to the drawing board, gather more and better evidence, and make a decision like that with the seriousness that is required for a decision that is going to be life-changing. And if you don't, you've only got yourself to blame when you end up being miserable, unhappy, and ruining your life, which is what happens to a lot of these people. So again, Demi Lovato, she's not a serious person, and I don't believe for a second that Demi Lovato gives any damn for how many young ladies she's inspired to do stupid things to themselves. And I don't think she cares. She's just in the business of attention seeking, and she does a very, very important job of ruining people's lives by being the crazy crackpot that she is. So please, if I could say anything, especially to very impressionable young teenage girls, do not listen to Demi Lovato. I know that more of them listen to her than to me, but you're an idiot, and you're looking up to someone who honestly couldn't care less whether you live or die. Demi Lovato. She's not interested in young women all over the world. She couldn't care less about you. And she's proven that. She's proven that again by making it all about her. Congo Chris says he reckons she has brain damage from smoking crack, and nobody wants to say it because it's apparently ableist to say smoking crack is bad for your brain. Doesn't she also believe in aliens, Demi Lovato?
She
I don't
said
know a lot
something
about
like that.
Yeah.
Sanella says Gareth's SIM card is leaving out an important detail. The main reason that Uncle Waffles caught traction is she used to strip and expose her thong while she was DJing. I'm not sure if she
Well,
still
she
does
wasn't stripping. She wasn't stripping. Come on, you're being a bit dramatic. But yes, she would like do her performances because she's quite petite. Okay.
Yes.
And I would say she was going for like that old school hip hop look where you have like the
Okay.
sports bra on, or I wouldn't say sports bra on, and then you have the track pants, and she has the nails done, and yeah, like maybe a bit of her thong was showing back then. But I feel like that was just the aesthetic she was going for. But she's a performer. Like she dances like nobody else's business. That girl will move and shake and make you feel the song and just be like, okay, yabba. And that's what she does, and that's what she's great at.
I've got a much better picture of her if you want me to show this. Then it'll give you.
I'm a bit worried.
It's not going to get us deplatformed from YouTube. It's just she's wearing exactly the outfit that you were just talking about, and she looks really hot in this picture. So there she is in like a thong with track pants and the little,
That's like her aesthetic.
Okay, no, she's got a good look. She's got something going there. Okay, so that's Uncle Waffles. Who knew, Waffles. Who knew you'd wake up this morning, discover the world of Uncle Waffles?
And Uncle is a female.
I know. When you first said that, I promise you, I saw like this cranky old man with like, sort of gray hair and a little beard. Almost looks like that Xhosa King Dalindyebo. Who hey, what you doing? What you doing playing outside my house, children? Get away from my lawn. I'm Uncle Waffles, and if you come on my lawn again, I'm gonna get my shotgun and shoot you in the head. That kind of thing. That's what I thought he looked like.
I thought it was like Ghost Lady a bit.
What?
I thought it was like Ghost Lady, like on the podcast. When you just hear a voice and there's no one really there, and then they just give the voice a name. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. So listen, didn't you recently you lost your iPad or something, which is kind of stupid. Did you lose it, or did someone steal it from you? Because that's an expensive thing to lose.
I know. I lost it. It was actually, I lost it in this very parking lot, which makes me even more mad.
You lost it at work. What were you doing?
Yes.
Were you just not paying attention? Did you leave it on the roof of your car?
I did exactly that. I left on the roof of my car, and then I had a conversation with Michael. Like, I don't know, we got into some deep conversations, and then I got into my car and left. And then halfway through the highway, I got a notification on my Apple device saying you've left your iPad behind. But I was already on the highway, and I was like, oh man. And I drove back here, and it was gone. And so I was upset, but I just accepted it.
Do you think it fell off and smashed, or do you think it fell off and someone took it?
It could have been both, to be honest. That was the scary part of the whole thing. I have no idea how I forgot it, because I didn't take a backpack with me that day. So I'd left my laptop at home and I just brought my iPad. And then I was like, hold on, where did I put it? And then I just couldn't believe that I lost it in that shock of a second. And it just made me think, like,
I was calling you a moron, but I actually feel sorry for you, because this is the kind of thing, this happens to everybody all the time.
I mean, Simphiwe had something similar a couple months earlier as well.
I wouldn't say similar.
Well,
I don't think.
No. Okay, it's not similar. Mine was my one was moronic, but Simphiwe had her phone stolen a couple months ago as well, and so it's like
someone I know
to lose.
Someone I know left, I think it was a wallet on the roof of his car, but he didn't have far to go, and when he got there, it was still on the roof. It didn't blow off.
Wow.
So he must have been going really slowly.
Really slow, yeah.
Okay. And he couldn't have had far to go. But he was like, oh my God, where's my wallet? And he got out of his car and he saw the thing on the roof, and he traveled. He hadn't gone far. But that is, I think, the luckiest break in the universe, because you'd probably be thinking, oh, no, I definitely left it on there and it's gone, like you did with the iPad. Now, if Find My iPhone you can't locate it. Was it switched off or smashed? Does that disable the find feature?
No, I actually didn't have a SIM card in there with data loaded on it. And obviously I have passcodes on there and everything. So anyone who could pick it up couldn't really get in. And they couldn't really
Right.
connect it to Wi-Fi. So I just kind of had to accept it was gone.
We're all so distracted. That's the problem. We're so distracted. We're on our phones. We're busy wondering about where we're going to go next. We've got appointments. We've got work to do. We're distracted. That's why I interviewed this guy yesterday. His name is Johann Hari. He's written this brilliant book called Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention. And I spent an hour and 15 minutes or so with him yesterday in the studio. And I love interviewing people face to face. It's such a weird thing. We take it for granted that is something. I used to do that every day. We used to do 3 hours, and one of those hours was an interview with somebody, and we did that for 5 years. So that's a lot of hours of interviewing people. And now I'm so used to doing the show this way, where we're virtual, where you guys are in different places and I'm in a different place. And I kind of expected, because he's an international author, he's written screenplays. He wrote the screenplay to that Samuel L. Jackson movie, Chasing the Scream.
Oh, wow.
It was made into an 8-part TV series. And he was the executive producer of that, as well as a movie as well. His second book is called Lost Connections. He's written for the New York Times, Le Monde, The Guardian, and others. And he's done TED Talks that have been viewed over 80 million times. I mean, this is no small, pathetic author. This is a really, really impressive human being. And with this book, what he did is he traveled around the world researching and asking the smartest people he could find about whether or not human beings have lost their ability to pay attention. And even if we haven't lost it, whether it's declined so much that now it's harder than ever for people to be able to pay attention to each other. So it was really great to sit opposite this guy and ask him all these questions, and to have read the book, which I cram read like an hour before I met him, because I'd read a little bit of it and then I'd kind of left it. And that's how I read. I mean, I'll skim through books, but this one was fascinating. So I'm actually going to go back and read it again. But I had so many questions to ask him, and I thought, wouldn't it be stupid and ironic if I did an interview about paying attention and I wasn't paying attention? So I realized again how important it is to focus and to be in flow when you're doing something that you care about. And with interviewing this guy, it just flowed. It was I can't wait for you to hear it. I think we'll have it ready for you next week. But what an interesting discussion, and something we are all struggling with at the moment. So if you, like me, feel that something's wrong, you're constantly distracted by these screens, you spend way too much time trying to get your attention back after you've been distracted, like you'll be interrupted by someone while you're in the middle of a project or something, and then you come back to it and it takes you so long to actually get back to where you were. All of this is stuff he addresses, and it's fascinating. And I can't help thinking, Ryan, that leaving an iPad on the roof of a car and that kind of thing, that's the stuff that happens when you're not paying attention. You drop some balls because you're juggling too many, and we're all starved for attention, and we're exhausted because we're expected to be, we sleep less than ever, we're expected to put out and produce more than ever. And it's just become hard to find that balance. And I can't help thinking, and we blame the equipment, we blame the digital devices, but it's not just them, it's us. It's all up to us. You can't blame you can't blame the KFC up the road for making you fat. You go there and you eat. That's why that happens to you. So, I mean, it's really interesting, and it'll make for a great discussion. So I'm looking forward to that. Gary says you look like the splitting image of Dwayne Vermeulen. Is that a compliment or Dwayne Vermeulen?
I'm also trying to work that out.
Let me look up Dwayne. I can't remember what Dwayne Vermeulen looks like. Yeah,
I don't know.
You reckon? Dwayne Vermeulen, a rugby player. What do you think, Simphiwe? You know who this
I
is?
No, I don't, but I'm trying to think. I just
No, I
don't think so.
I had to look him up. It's because again, you talk about sport, and it's like talking to someone who's got an IQ of 13.
No,
for me.
no,
That's
you
Dwayne
tried
Vermeulen.
it. No,
Correct? He looks like Dwayne Vermeulen. I
No.
don't think so.
no,
I don't
not
think
at all.
I don't
No.
think so.
Sorry, we disagree, Gary. We do not agree with you.
Rob.
So people are so busy chasing money, says Congo Chris, that they forget the two most important currencies. Money is great, but don't forget to pay attention and spend some time. Pay attention, spend time. We use the same words that we would for money, right? It's a very good point.
Mhm.
If you don't use a cell phone, you won't have any problems with your attention. Unfortunately, there's a longer possible reason for most people. Everyone is like Flynn, is in like Flynn. Yeah, I mean, so parallel parking's raised an interesting point there. I'm not going to go into too much of this, but I do think the book addresses this. The interview that I had with Johann Hari will also help you understand it. But he says something that Yonda's kind of invoking here. It could not be that we've reached the limit of our linear way of thinking and doing things that help us keep our brains moving, come off as distracted. No, we actually only have, and this is something that has been proven by every study they've ever done in this area. People think they can concentrate on more than one thing at a time. And the truth is, you cannot. You just can't. So forget about it. You think you can concentrate on more than one thing? Got bad news for you. Impossible. You can think about one, maybe two things in your head at the same time ever. But usually it's just one. And even the smartest people struggle with two. So
Yeah, and it's also said when that happens, you tend, even if you're thinking of two things, that the one will be like much more. So you would do that at a really high capacity, and then the other is actually where it's even below what you would do. It's just that people have convinced themselves that I can multitask. Nah, you can't, Chad. No,
not possible. All right, so it's past. Let's look at a couple of headlines and see what's going on in the world. Where should we begin? Let's take a look at some of these stories. Okay, well, first and foremost, and Simphiwe, I know you want to talk about the Real Housewives of Pretoria, which is coming soon, which if there's ever going to be a Real Housewives, it'd be the one.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The Real Housewives of Politics, the ANC, have vowed to abolish TV licenses and implement a household tax. So listen to this. These guys are such morons. The ruling party has vowed to scrap the embattled public broadcaster's contentious TV license and replace it with a hefty tax. Oh, yeah. We're going to love this. But do you guys realize, like, you're becoming less popular and you need to do something that will make you more popular now? Taxing people is the opposite of getting popular in politics. So according to Communications Minister Kumbutso Ntshavheni, she addressed the media in her capacity as a member of the ANC. She provided feedback on what took place over the weekend. She said, the TV license arrangement, she really should be on Housewives, is not working. Oh, really? Oh, you genius. She said it's actually impacting on the SABC's ability to survive. Wow, you must be a brilliant communications minister.
Why are you lying?
I swear to God, I'm quoting directly from her. This is the idiot we've got in charge of communications in this country. No wonder she can't communicate. She added that the public broadcaster must be strengthened. Why? Nobody ever goes, why doesn't one of these journalists go, why? Because she won't have an answer. Because the SABC is very important. Why? Because they broadcast in many languages. Why is no one listening to them or watching them in the numbers they used to? Because we don't give them enough money. But if we gave them enough money, would that mean people would start listening and watching? No. See, nobody asks follow-up questions of these idiots. Anyway, she says, in the public mandate, we want the SAB to be funded from the national fiscus, but we are proposing a household levy. So this is what they want to do. They want to charge each household this levy that will be collected by multi-choice.
Oh.
So there's another thing. There's another thing I don't care about. I don't have a DSTV subscription anymore. I don't care about you. You want to go? Who's going to collect it from MultiChoice? They're going to debit my account for a service I'm not using. Don't you understand? I don't watch the SABC. I don't listen to their radio stations. I don't watch DSTV. I'm not a client of yours. You can't get to my wallet, you greedy fucking pig. Anyway, so the SABC thinks that this is the way to go. The organization Undoing Tax Abuse, OUTA, believes this will be problematic. Thank God, some adults in the room.
Wow. Wait, but
It's because the head of Netflix ignored them. That's why. Remember when they tried to go after Netflix to try and get additional money?
You want to ask Simphiwe? You wanted to ask something.
My only, if they say I was going along with what they're trying to propose, and I'm like, this is a great idea. They're saying MultiChoice is going to collect the funds, but we know that majority of South Africans don't even have MultiChoice. That's why they have SABC, because it's free, right? Like, so how are they going to collect from people that don't even have, like, because MultiChoice is very it's a certain percent of people in South Africa that actually have that.
I know what you're saying. You're saying that MultiChoice is actually a subset of the viewers who can't afford MultiChoice. They're a subset of the people who have to watch the SABC. In other words, most of the SABC viewers don't have MultiChoice. That's why they're stuck with the SABC. So how are you going to collect from MultiChoice if they're not even on that? Here's the facts, all right? The SABC's annual report for last year pointed out that only 2.5 million licenses were paid from a database of 9.5 million license holders. That's all. So, I mean, that's tiny. And I still don't understand why anyone would pay their TV license. That's like those people who pay for e-tolls. I don't know who they are. Don't know where they are, but they're idiots. Oh, hang on. I do know one. Leanne Moll pays her e-tolls. She's the only person dumb enough to do it on this show. All right. Katlego, my boy, is going to return to the Espresso morning show. I don't know why. I don't know why they. I don't see why he should do this. I think he was fired from that show because they believed that ex-girlfriend or ex-wife of his who said terrible things about him, he's now been exonerated and cleared of all those charges. They should be, I hope they're paying him an absolute fortune. I hope he's being paid 4 times what he was then. Because if he's just going back with his pride in his hand, saying, please, can I have a job? I think that's very sad. I don't believe that this guy's been treated fairly. And I think it's actually a disgrace that any of this has happened to him. He's returning next Monday. He will join Graham Richards for an emotional sit-down. Oh, can you imagine? Imagine that. It's going to be like so tell us, how's it been?
How do you feel?
I'll tell you what he should say. He should sit there and go, yeah, that bitch lied. And I'm back because I did nothing wrong. And if you believe liars like that in the media, like this show's producers did when they fired me from it, you should have to pay a fine. So I'm sitting here waiting. Here are my bank details. That's what he should do. Anyway, he won't. It'll be boring. But cancel culture has become a trend in South Africa. Individuals calling each other out on social media to publicly magnify their perceived offenses. This leads to a campaign calling for them to be cancelled, meaning members of the public are encouraged not to support their work or buy their products. This happened 2 years ago to Katlego Maboy, who was suspended from SABC3 pending an investigation into the allegations of gender-based violence. He was accused of abuse in a social media post. And of course, subsequently, he has been exonerated. So he says he's filled with so much gratitude to those who've been supportive and encouraging. Well, I want to get him on this show because we were supportive of him from the beginning. And I think he knows that we were there. We didn't buy any of this bullshit from the start. And it takes courage to stand by someone. It doesn't take courage to do what these pathetic producers of that stupid show espresso. First of all, what is it? It's espresso is the coffee. Espresso is a dumb show. It's really, really dumb. I think Katlego is wasting his talent there. He should go back to doing the insurance ads. That's where his real talent was. Of course, I'm
I
being
hope he
sarcastic.
gets that bag again. I
No.
hope he gets.
What, you don't like a lot of Africa? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, it went from bad to terrible. So no. No.
Anyway, a statement issued by the channel says after a protracted legal process, the courts absolved him of allegations in January 2022. Of course, none of that was his fault. Cardova TV managing director Patience Stevens said that the domestic violence obviously is a serious problem in our society, one which they as a company stand strongly against. Oh, I thought you guys were for domestic violence. I mean, isn't it just the default position that most companies would be against domestic violence? Anyway, she says, we are relieved that the legal process has run its course and that Katlego has cleared himself in the court of such allegations. He is a rare talent. We're happy to be. Anyway, that's the story. So there it is. It's outrageous that he was ever, for 2 years, this guy hasn't had any work. For 2 years, he's had no income. For what? Because of bullshit. That's what. Anyway. That's all that we got time for in the news. We're going to get to Sean Sanders himself just now with some Revics for us. But are you serious that there's a Real Housewives of Pretoria coming?
Yes,
Is this a
Gareth,
real
and
thing?
I'm excited. I am excited. If there's a reality show that I do want to watch, it's this one. It's going to be in Afrikaans, guys. Like, I think that's where I'm getting my excitement from. I'm going to be seeing how the mighty, the rich, the wealthy live it up in the Afrikaans community. I've not seen it before in my life. So I'm excited to see how do these ladies actually spend their money? What do they do with all that money? Like, what kind of money do they have? You know, are they like generational wealth? Did they inherit
Mostly.
this? Did they just marry rich? I'm excited. It's
All
called
right.
what? The Housewife van Pretoria. They even changed the name for these ladies. It's guys.
They're calling it the Real Housewives van Pretoria.
You see, it just has that thing. It's just
Brian, are
like
you excited about this at all?
I think it's gonna be hilarious. I was saying to Simphiwe yesterday, have you ever watched Boerstukke Fro?
No.
Yes, what a horrible show.
Well, I'm getting flashbacks of that. Like, I think that's why it's gonna be funny. And also, I don't know, whenever I go to Pretoria, there's a lot of drama there, so I feel like it's gonna be funny.
Really?
I've only been, whenever we go out, we go to like the strip.
Yeah,
I don't know where exactly it is.
I have
In
been to the
Hatfield,
strip
yeah.
before. Pretoria, dude.
Yeah.
Pretoria's
The amount of
hectic.
things that go down in Pretoria. They have to
I
have
think
these
you guys-
massive bounces, and
I must be honest with you, having been in Pretoria most of my life, I think you're in for a very, very big disappointment. I don't think it's going to be that
so?
exciting. No. I don't know who are the women on this show. Do we know yet? Because maybe I know who they are.
No, they have not
sorry.
revealed who's going to be on the show yet, but they have teased that this new reality show is coming out and it's going to be in Afrikaans. And I think that's
Right.
what I'm most excited about. Just seeing how, I won't lie, I just want to see how white Afrikaans ladies spend money. I've not seen that before in my life,
is
and I
obviously-
just want to see how they
it's a
do it. How
Yeah.
you know? And I'm also curious, is it going to be like mob wives? Are they also going to be like Steakom? You know, they just, and I'm like,
Oh, no, they won't know. Yeah, I certainly hope not, because I've spent a lot of my life trying to rehabilitate the reputation of Pretoria, because a lot of people who don't live here and who don't know much about Pretoria think it's this really, really backward place where, if you don't speak Afrikaans, you kind of get sidelined. Let me remind you that this is the city where the president does his business. This is where all the embassies are. This is a very sophisticated place. Pretoria's got amazing restaurants and places that people go, and culture, and there's a lot going on in Pretoria. It's not a backwater. It's the capital city of South Africa.
it's where the
And
money's at.
most of the people who live in Pretoria will work in Joburg, so that they're actually earning Joburg money and then putting it into Pretoria. And there's some beautiful, beautiful places in Pretoria, gorgeous houses, lovely like hidden gems. I mean, it really is a magnificent place. And if you think Pretoria is just, another like Bloemfontein, but further north, you're really not paying attention. So I think you're going to be in for a disappointment, because I think Pretoria people are quite a lot more sophisticated than you're expecting. And they might actually be boring for a show like this. A show like this, you need people who are trashy and flashy. That's what you want. You want people who conspicuously spend money. I mean, I told you that the 20-minute episode or whatever it was that I watched of the Cape Town one, and I was horrified by the very low quality of those women. And I thought, this is not good for Cape Town. So it could happen that Pretoria is also embarrassed by the women who enter. I also want to know how they choose these people. I mean, do they go through a rigorous kind of psychological testing? Do they just have to be a rich housewife? Is that all that's required? Is that the only qualification?
Basically. Well, even what's quite ironic is that some of these ladies are not even housewives. They just so happen to be rich and their girlfriend, and they claim their title of being a housewife.
Right.
But it's all up to the producers who they kind of have reached to. So they'll be like, I kind of know somebody who's married to a billionaire, and I'll ask her. And that's how they go about picking these ladies. Because I don't think none of these rich ladies are like, I want to be on TV. Pick me. It's kind of like, hey, here's the invitation.
No, I
Would
think
you
the
like
whole
to
thing
come
is
on?
the whole thing is please pick me. I think they desperately want to be on TV. There are a lot of people who really want that in their lives. I've never understood it, but there are lots of people who want to be on TV. Chris says, I'd rather watch the Real Housewives of Brakpan. Oh, that would be a show.
Same.
No,
That would be a show, hey? Wow.
No. That would be the mob wives.
It's going to be lekker watching some Cook sisters getting it on. Here's another idea. Chris says, what about the Real Housewives of Four Ways? That would be fun too, right?
No,
that would be great.
No. I have a feel for this, and I can tell you which ones would do well. Which is Four Ways, Brakpan, no. Cape Town, no. Pretoria,
Boksburg.
yes.
Hannes rightly says Pretoria has the prettiest girls in the country. Now that I can vouch for. That is absolutely true. I think the women from Pretoria are like the women from Constantia and Cape Town, says Anna Marie. You see, you don't know what you're talking about, Anna Marie. Dogozo says, Pretoria is amazing. I did university there, and it was a vibe. Definitely holds a special place in my heart. All right. There are lots of people who are saying, like, Bloemfontein is cool. Thanks for a mention, said Shani. Well, don't worry. That'll be the only mention of Bloemfontein for this month.
We're not getting Bloemfontein, no.
Scott says, Joe, but those Pretoria Macy's are hot AF. When I was a rep many years ago, calling on Brooklyn Mall, it was like visiting a modeling agency. Top drawer. Mm-hmm.
You can find your wife in Woolworths.
You could. Brakpan 100% would work, says Ruth. Oh, yes. No, Brakpan would be amazing.
Yes.
Durban has the prettiest. Second is Cape Town. Fact, says Kim Jong-un. Well, Kim Jong-un, I don't know if you've been to Durban and Cape Town. You are completely misguided there. My girlfriend works in retail, where one of the housewives demanded a discount by saying, do you know who I am? I'm on the Real Housewives of Pretoria. Oh, God. That's
starting Simphiwe.
That's from Sebastian. Oh, what an embarrassment. The best answer to someone saying, do you know who I am? Is no. And then turn and walk away. You don't need to say more than that. Economy of words destroy their whole idea of themselves in one fell swoop. Just go, no. When they say, do you know who I am? No. I've seen it happen to people before, famous people, and they crumble when people say it. All right. We're going to carry on talking about like where the pretty girls are from, but Hein, oh God, what a terrible idea. Real Housewives of Welkom. Now that would be shameful. That would be so embarrassing. Can you imagine the Real Housewives of Welkom? Oi. Well, I've just made this cup of soup, and this will be my only meal for the week.
Oh no, nothing is
Gareth,
working.
Congo
No.
Chris says, Gareth, I think you owe PE a public apology after calling it the armpit of South Africa. Finally got a name like a wet armpit. No, I don't owe any apology to PE. I will never apologize to PE. PE does not deserve an apology. Although once I did say I would come and make a personal apology because it was in the front page of the newspapers for a while that I'd called PE an armpit. People got very upset. You know, this was in the days before, like, you could get outraged on social media. People used to get outraged. They'd write letters to the news, you know. I remember the Herald, I think, is their newspaper now, some terrible newspaper. And they wrote to me and they were like, oh, well, you were very insulting about PE the last time you were here. Do you wish to say anything? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to stick by what I said. It's an armpit. And then they got even more upset. And then the mayor, they even asked the mayor what the mayor of PE back in those days thought. This was about, 15 years ago? And the mayor of PE was outraged and said, oh, well, he's not welcome here or whatever. So I did this whole thing on my show where I said, all right, I'll come and make a public apology to the mayor, but then I want them to rename the city. And they have. So maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Look at you, Gareth, being all influential.
Maybe I should go there and then maybe I should go say I'm going to apologize and then not apologize and say, I still think it's the worst place in the world. All right. Let's turn our attention now to something we've been thinking about for a long time. Had a bit of a rally in the last few days, but seems to be stable again. That is Bitcoin. We're talking beyond Bitcoin with Revix and the founder of Revix, Sean Sanders, who joins us this morning. How are you, Sean?
Morning, Gareth. I'm good. How are you doing this morning?
Nice to see you. How are things going at
well.
Revix? What's been happening? What's everybody talking about in your office at the moment?
A lot of people are talking about this Ethereum merge, which is taking place next month, and then DeFi, which is what we're going to talk about today, I hope. I guess Absolutely. This has been the sector that's rallied the most over the last month. So definitely want to dive into that further.
All right. So first of all, you did cover this last week about how people need to be they need to be sober about these things. They need to, as you said, and these are your words, I will not forget and I will not misquote you, zoom out so that you can get a proper comprehensive picture of what's going on. Because a lot of people are very, very cross about where crypto is at the moment. And you're allowed to get cross, but it's nobody's fault. I mean, this is what happens in a market. But tell us about DeFi. I mean, this is not a household implement. This is not something you would use in your kitchen. It's not a series of appliances. DeFi, DEFI, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, so DeFi is decentralized finance. And it's really building on the narrative that open finance started. So if anyone's been to, let's say, the United Kingdom or been to Europe, you'd see that you have open banking. And if anyone's working in sort of the financial sector, you would have engaged with open banking in some way, shape, or form. When you enter a little finance app and all of a sudden everything is sort of interconnected and you can just make an instant payment, that's part of open banking. Now, decentralized finance is looking to take a lot of the traditional banking and traditional financial products that we have today and sort of removing the intermediaries and making these systems just more open and transparent, right? So some examples here is if you had to imagine the JSE. Now, the JSE actually used to be a trading floor. So you used to have a whole bunch of people jumping around the room, making lots of noise. I buy this, I sell this. Everyone.
They used to shout at each other and they used to wave pieces of paper in the air. And then there'd be a guy with a chalkboard and he'd actually change the number as the share prices went up and down.
That's exactly it, right? And then you had the tickers that used to go across. That was the evolution. That was actually a big technological evolution because all of a sudden now you don't need people shouting the prices. You could actually see the prices running across essentially these little digital boards. You would have seen that in some movies. Then essentially all of these exchanges went digital. So now you've got the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange. All of these are essentially programs. They are online platforms and they are companies ultimately. So the evolution of this, and I think this is the sort of next big step forward, and we're actually just at the early stages of this. And this is only one little sector of DeFi. I mean, an important sector, but a very small one, is now where those programs are no longer controlled by companies, but rather by a group of people or community, whoever decides to buy the tokens that would essentially provide the governance rights to a decentralized JSE or decentralized New York Stock Exchange. So imagine a program where you can go and say, hey, listen, I want to sell, I'm going to use Bitcoin, or, it could in the future, it could be some shares. I want to sell shares, but I'm not doing this over the JSE. I'm doing this over this program that is controlled by a community. So very much like, everyone that holds Bitcoin can then essentially, contribute to upgrades and decide on essentially how the program or how the protocol gets upgraded. And that's exactly the same sort of thing that's being applied here. So that's just one area. Another area of DeFi, which has grown a lot, is the lending space. So let's just say you've got Bitcoin or you've got any other cryptocurrency. That cryptocurrency has grown a lot in value. I mean, if you've invested, from 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, you have seen quite incredible gains. Now, maybe you're a long-term hodler, right? You don't want to be selling out of your crypto right now. You can actually go to some of these decentralized lending platforms, lock away your cryptocurrency and take out a loan against that cryptocurrency without ever dealing with another counterparty. So this is all done via this program. And this all sounds, kind of airy-fairy and in the air. But I mean, look, I'm a finance nut. When you engage with this, you literally go, oh my word, this is the future of finance. So in some way, shape or form, this is where finance is going to go. And crypto, sort of in terms of decentralizing money and the way that we're moving value around has really just been the first step in sort of creating the foundational layer for decentralized finance.
Do you think that the enthusiasm for this has had a kind of stick put into the spokes of it by the fact that Bitcoin, for example, has gone down in value? Because a lot of people were very much batting on this wicket. People were saying, oh, we like the idea of decentralized finance. We like the idea of it not having an authority at the middle of it who can make bad decisions. The whole reason we've got inflation in the world now is because of authority figures and governments and reserve banks and that kind of thing making bad decisions, printing money, for example. That's why we've got a bit of a financial crisis on our hands now. And the R word that the Joe Biden administration won't talk about, recession, which is going on whether people like it or not. This is because we've trusted certain people like Janet Yellen, who's the Treasury Secretary, who said herself the other day, oh, I'm sorry. She sounds like a character from like a cartoon, like when like the old granny voice. She goes, I'm really sorry. I seem to have got it wrong about inflation. So she's admitted herself that she got it wrong. But people can't help looking at the state of crypto at the moment and going, well, maybe they don't have all the answers either. It's still a better system than trusting the experts like Janet Yellen, isn't it?
We are still in the early days. I mean, sure, it's been speculative. It's kind of like the early days of the internet. And we've overused this analogy, definitely. But I mean, a lot of these programs or protocols, as they called it in the crypto space, I mean, these are sort of the test cases, right? I mean, you've seen some of them really grow in value and get some mainstream adoption. I mean, people forget that, crypto is here, right? Like 2 years ago, we were kind of bringing this into question as to whether or not this will even be around in 2 years' time. That's not a question anymore. It's sort of just what will this actually look like in the future? And decentralized finance, I mean, certainly coming from my background, being in finance, this is the most exciting sector that I can see within the crypto space. The number of new sort of protocols being launched and programs being launched on top of the likes of Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot. I mean, I've never seen anything happen at this rate. And I think that's why I'm looking at it going like, this is still a very, very early stage of a very exciting sector. And, if you look at sort of, I guess, crypto's correlation to DeFi, of course they're correlated. I mean, crypto has sort of been the first integrated use case of decentralized finance. But if you start thinking into the future, all of a sudden, imagine your property is tokenized. I mean, this sounds wild right now, but I guess all these kind of ideas were once wild once upon a time. But, imagine your property is tokenized. Now, currently, let's say you've paid off your property and you're going, hell, I will need a little bit more money. So currently you have to go to your bank, right? And let's just say you need a short-term loan to go on holiday or do something like that. Currently, you go to your bank has to assess your credit worthiness. They have to go through all of these processes and paperwork and compliance and bureaucracy. Why not simply have your token, your property, put that into a decentralized lending protocol? That sounds, really complicated, but ultimately a program that then goes, hey, there's a property. That property has a value of, say, 3 million Rand. Cool, you can take out a loan of 1 million Rand, which is exactly the way that Aave and a whole bunch of other lending protocols work, but they're solely focused on crypto right now. All of a sudden, you don't have to rely on a bank. You're able to get this loan, and in a very, very short period of time, I'm talking a couple of minutes, you're then able to access these funds and go on holiday and pay a rate that the market determines, right? So that'll be dependent on whatever that home or that collateral is, that quality of that collateral. So that's where this is going, right? You could have a share portfolio and look to collateralize that share portfolio. And this doesn't even get into like the insurance space or get into the trading space where there's all innovation happening. So just, keep the term DeFi in mind, learn more about it. I really do think that this is probably, if you look out over, say, the next 3 to 5 years, the most exciting sector within the crypto space, and certainly the one where we're going to see the most innovation. Finance, while there's been a lot of innovation within the space, is ripe for disruption. There's a reason that, all the big banks and insurance companies have those shiny buildings. They're somehow getting money from you, right?
Well, they're also the people who are looking most at the future, trying to divine what's going to happen next. And they're starting to take this DeFi stuff a lot more seriously because either it disintermediates them or they end up being part of it. All right. Is there a way that you can get invested in DeFi as a concept, as an idea, as a possible portfolio option? What do we got there?
Yeah. So we spent 6 months working on a DeFi bundle, and we launched it last year. So far, it's been, of course, we've had a tough market period, but it has been one of our better performing bundles. It's up 50%, believe it or not, over the last month. That's sort of been in this rally that we've seen off market lows. So, yeah, our DeFi bundle provides exposure to the top 10 largest DeFi protocols. So you diversify right across the top projects in the space. I will say as well that the reason we've launched our bundles across all of the different sectors and themes that we have is because we believe that in all of these early spaces, it's the most critical that you can ever, or it's the most important time really ever, where you should be diversifying across that sector. I mean, it's a high risk category. DeFi, we don't know, if Aave or, there's even terms such as Pancake Swap. That's a protocol that was in this space. And that, there's some really weird names in crypto because they're deliberately taking digs at traditional finance, right? They want to make a mockery of the way that things currently are done. So, when you hear those weird names, that's pretty much why. So we just make it really simple to get exposure through our bundle. You can head over to our website. That's www.revix.com. You can look for the DeFi bundle there. You can, ask our customer support for a little bit more information on this. We're happy to answer any questions, and you can get started with next to nothing, literally 150 Rand. You can also deposit cryptocurrency, withdraw cryptocurrency from our platform. So we just make it really easy to get exposure to the space.
Sean, thank you very much. There's Sean Sanders, Revix. You asked for him. He's back and he's giving us all the info that we need. Check out DeFi. Do your own research. I mean, this is something nobody's going to just go and invest without knowing a little bit more about it themselves. Sean has given you a basic overview, but you can go and do your own research. And if you want to know more, you can always ask the guys at Revix. That's what they're there for. They're the professionals. They know what they're talking about. And you can find out what the future of not only DeFi, but of crypto more generally might be. They've also got the USD coin and a bunch of others. So go and check them out. You can go and find out more at revix.com, REVIX. Sean Sanders, we'll see you in a couple of days.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Have a good week.
Good stuff, man. Thank you. There's Sean, and that means that we are coming up for 7 o'clock. Oh, it's just a little bit after 7 o'clock. We'll be back with more after this.
This week on the AutoTrader podcast.
So we have a product on AutoTrader called Vehicle Check.
Well, that's not it's not a physical inspection, right? It's a history check.
It's a history check. So this is, and I think it's important to note that is something completely different. However, how does that work? So that looks at the vehicle's VIN
data, and then whatever data is captured on about the car,
yes,
we try and gather. Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
because it's about technology, connecting your business to the rest of the world doesn't mean you need to send rockets to space and use complicated solutions. Want to simplicate things? Well, join Jaco Voigt, who is the CEO of Catalytic, on the Unbundled podcast. With skin in the game and a keen focus on educating and assisting you and your business, Jaco decodes all the aspects of connectivity, security, and cloud solutions. Unbundled is brought to you by Catalytic and is available on cliffcentral.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It is a Wednesday morning. Now, I don't want to jump the gun here and jinx things, but I'm wearing a T-shirt for the first time since May. And I'm wondering, and I'm not freezing my balls off. I don't have any heaters on, none of that stuff. So I just want to say maybe winter's going to be going away soon. I know that we usually get some kind of cold snap that makes everybody a little bit nervous and unhappy at some point between now and September. And even September can sometimes be a bit chilly. But I kind of like the idea that we're moving into my favorite part of the year. And it's not just mine, it's most people's favorite part of the year. So if you're ready for that, like we are, then let us know in the comments. We've got lots to talk about this morning, plenty to get through. We want to hear from you. So drop us a comment. And also while you're dropping us a comment, like and subscribe. And Ryan, you're our social media guy along with Simphiwe. So what else do people need to do? They need to comment. Why? Greg said
comment and share and
all of that stuff.
Do all those things.
If you give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, it pushes us every single time. Our numbers are good, right? We get great downloads, but they don't look at the downloads only. If you want to be featured on the main page of Apple, apparently then people have to comment. Every single time someone drops a comment on Apple Podcasts as a review, then it puts us in the top 10. So we're kind of there all the time. We've been in the top 10 from day one, but we need you to keep up the energy. And I'm sorry. I mean, this is like, I don't make you subscribe. I don't make you pay money to listen to us. So the least you can do is leave a good review. And I'm going to go and check on Apple Podcasts later this morning. And if there aren't at least, 50 reviews, then I'm just not going to do the show. I'll just won't wake up for the show tomorrow, and I won't be here. So it's a threat. Yes, I'm threatening you. But I mean, this is the only way we can get things done, is if I threaten people. All right. So lots of interesting stuff for us to talk about this morning. A lot of people still talking about PE. Someone says what I should do. I mean, I can't believe PE is so important that people actually are talking about it. But if I and the funny thing is, I don't actually hate PE at all. This is the dirty little secret. But I don't. But I like saying horrible things about PE because PE people get so offended by it. Right. And I'm talking about a certain kind of person. It's like, old grouchy people who get upset about a lot of things. But I've met lovely people in PE. It's actually a beautiful place. They've got lovely beaches. It's like a gem that very few people discovered. But don't ever say that to them. Don't let them know that that's how I feel. I want them to know that I really despise their shitty little city. And there are things about PE that are revolting. And I think here, Dr. Robin, who knows the Eastern Cape better than me, she says, if you've ever driven into PE from the easterly side, it smells like a sweaty, unwashed armpit. Well, that's where the name came from. Didn't pull it out of thin air. That's genuinely, there are things about it that are embarrassing. Anyway, Dr. Robin, the crux of my family is from PE, says Sanele, and I do not disagree. See? These are people who know the place, right?
Okay.
Carl says, Gareth, this show's becoming a lot of admin. Just fucking charge us. Okay, I will if you. But in the meantime, go and write a review.
Pay. You better pay. When we start charging, you better pay the premium amount.
You better pay.
We see you. We'll give you what you want. You want to pay? Hey, we'll make you pay, Chief. We'll fight. One fight. You're not pay.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Simphiwe.
Yes.
We've got to get into something. We've got Jane coming in later on, and I'm very excited about this. Jane Malachi, who is looking for a part-time job. And we thought, well, we've got this show. We've got some great listeners. I'm sure we got somebody who can offer us something. Let's get her on, but it's going to be like an audition. And I'm nervous about this because every time you put Jane on, It can go very, very well, or it can go very, very poorly. It's 50-50. Does Jane like Ryan? What's the story here? Because I mean, she sometimes tolerates you, Simphiwe, but she also gives you a lot of uphill. I mean, what's the story with both of you? I just need to know so that I can manage the situation when she comes
I
out.
will go out on a limb and say, I think Ash Jane loves me. You know, I really think she just has this unexplainable love for me. It
Love.
just yeah, she just doesn't know how to articulate it very well, but I think she loves me. That's number one. I think with Ryan, I think she's okay with Ryan. She is trying to like figure out like, where can I get you? Because Ryan hasn't slipped up according to us, Jane. So until that moment arises, until she's like, I got you. Yes, you, Ryan. She's not gonna say anything. She's honestly not gonna say anything. For now. It can change. Like it can be just a look, a simple look that you give her, and it's tickets. It's absolutely tickets.
She
You're
greets
on
me in
her
the morning,
bad side.
and then she doesn't greet me when she leaves. So I'm always I don't know where I stand. I'm like,
don't take that. No, Ryan. Don't take that personally. House Jane does that too.
You get a greeting in the morning. Be grateful for the small things you get. All right. Jesus, Jane made me a cup of coffee yesterday in the office. It's like the strongest stuff ever. I could have kickstarted a Boeing with the cup of coffee that she made for me yesterday. And then she comes in, she goes, was it all right? So I'm like, I'm too scared to complain about it. So I go, It was fine. It was fine. And she goes, She goes, are you sure? Because you look a little shocked. I'm like, that doesn't fine. All right. So let me quickly tell you. Yeah. Let me tell you about Naked. We've been talking about them for the last couple of days, and there's a reason for that. What makes Naked's insurance products different to the others is how it's powered by the latest tech to give you total control over your cover and to make insurance faster and easier than ever before. You don't believe me? Well, you can quote, buy, and switch insurance whenever it suits you. You can even do this at 2 a.m. You can manage and customize every single aspect of your cover on the Naked Insurance app. Just change your details. You can change your excess. You can update your cover. You can pause it when you're not driving, which makes a whole lot of sense. And you can make claims. You can even cancel with just a click. It's that easy. The tech behind Naked also results in cost savings, which are passed on to the client in the form of lower premiums. That's you score. Visit naked.insure or download the Naked Insurance app to sort your insurance without a phone call. Like anything else that we advertise here, it's only stuff that we've tried ourselves. And I can absolutely say to you that cliffcentral.com, we've known Ernest and the team from Naked from the get-go. We wouldn't tell you about them if we didn't believe in them. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized financial service provider. So don't just take our word for it. You can take theirs as well. All right. So we got a couple of things on the agenda for this morning, apart from getting Jane a new job. One of those things is that Simphiwe has decided that she doesn't even Google things anymore. Now she TikToks things, which I'm not sure I like the sound of this.
I'm not the only one.
Simphiwe, this TikTok, you're putting a lot of faith in this platform, which I've never trusted from the get-go. You know, I only got onto it maybe a month and a half ago, and I still don't go on every day. And I never will.
That's fine. So someone tweeted, and they're like, I don't Google, I TikTok. And that tweet went viral. Everyone was kind of like, girl, I thought I was the only one. I thought, I'm the only person who's kind of stopped going to Google first. And now I go to TikTok when I want to search something. There's a hashtag TikTok taught me. And it's been like used like 6.6 billion times. And it's projected that at this rate that TikTok actually might become the most used search engine. Yes, as opposed to Google, which I think is interesting. It's very, very interesting because naturally we all tend to go to Google and be like, how to da-da-da-da-da. But saying the reason why people trust TikTok is because now there's a face. There's somebody who's like, how to use this, get this, da-da-da-da. And there's kind of like this trust that people have when they see somebody else talk about it.
It's a content platform. So you really, I mean, how hard is it to find things? Like if I look up, for example, how to make less strong coffee than Jane Malachi makes. Am I going to find something easily, or am I going to have to spend hours scrolling through a whole lot of users with the word coffee in their blog?
Well, I can't speak on like other people's experience with TikTok, but I found it because the content that I get, the algorithm pushes to me is already things that I naturally am into. So it's very easy for me to like think of coffee and then go onto TikTok and then kind of see content around coffee. So I think in that regard, it's much more easier to search, and I'm not necessarily looking for a particular article. This is just content that I'm really like enjoying, content that I'm into, that I'm seeing on a daily. I'm seeing like all the time. It's just from different people, and it's quite informative. You know, I'm not saying you should trust TikTok. You know, that should be your Bible now, and it's the be it and end of it. But I think it's interesting that we're not moving away, but more people are starting to be like, hey, let me just TikTok this. And they'll watch a 3-minute video and be like, okay, cool, I'll buy it, you know? Or not buy it because this TikTok user did not have a great time.
Well, look, I mean, you know, we rely on human recommendations, right? Like if I'm about to buy, I don't know, a new pair of shoes, and someone at the office has got a really nice pair of shoes, I'm going to ask them. I'm going to say, hey, you know, what do you think of this? And then hopefully you'll get some good advice from someone you trust. Yes. And I think Google has also squandered a lot of its capital. I mean, we use the word. I Googled it to look something up. So they had like unassailable market dominance for a very long time. And I think that we found out that these algorithms are kind of working in the background, trying to figure us out. They serve us stuff that we want to know, that we want to hear, that confirms our political bias, that agrees with our pre-existing opinions. And I see no difference between Google and TikTok. In fact, I think TikTok's probably better at that, giving you what you want than even Google is. So it worries me that it's going to keep people very much in their bubbles. Do you use TikTok a lot, Ryan? I don't know anything about your social media behavior.
Simphiwe's laughing. It's because we always exchanging TikToks with one another. But we actually had a thing in the office. When was it, Simphiwe? Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Greg decided, because I said the algorithm is, well, at least my algorithm is not what Simphiwe's is. Like Simphiwe's is all lifestyle and stuff, but I don't choose what I just get push stuff.
What do you get?
I get like these chicks dancing and these girls in hot tubs doing lives, and I'm like, but I never asked for this. And Simphiwe's like, no, you did. And I'm like, I'm just on the For You page. I'm getting what they feed me. And then Greg decided to have a TikTok roulette game. And so we had to pull up our accounts, and we had to watch the first 5 videos of videos that come up. Like, what kind of videos? And what was Mash's one? Mash's one was like cars.
Let me explain, because you're not doing a good job, right?
I'm not a good explainer.
I like where this is going, though. This is going to be embarrassing.
You're not telling the real tea here. The reason why we were talking about the TikTok algorithms is because I always see lifestyle content, you know, and I think that's what I genuinely want to see. Mash is like, yeah, he sees a lot of comedy. That's what he wants to see. And Ryan is like, no. I'm just seeing a lot of hot girls doing baddie behavior. That's not what I want to see. And I'm like, Chief, this algorithm gives you more of what you like. So if that's what you're into, come on. And that's how we did the TikTok roulette. Yeah. Who is seeing what on the algorithm, and everybody was fine.
What came up with Ryan's? Was it exactly that stuff? Was it all this?
No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Look, it did come up.
Your TikTok is bad. It has baddies. It has these sexy girls doing a bit of like, I wouldn't say raunchy because the actual app itself is very PG, but I mean it's very suggestive.
They really play jump rope with the guidelines, to be honest.
Yeah, really? It's very suggestive. It's very like, ooh, am I wearing a top under this?
I was talking to Greg because we were talking about promoting podcasts on it, and then I said, but it's not going to work because it's only these girls that get the main attention. And he's like, no, but it's only you. I said, but it can't be just me. Surely there's other
That's
people.
embarrassing.
In these algorithms.
I didn't know this about you, but clearly you're just watching girls in laptops. I mean, I've kind
it's
of
just what it feeds me.
I think you're like an old school like creep who's looking at girls in hot tubs the whole time.
No,
and you're just like, yeah.
I don't know how to get other people's stuff. Like I watch so much sport stuff. How do I not get more sport content?
Here's the trick. Let me help you. Right, what you do is the minute that video pops up, you scroll up. You cannot give it within 3 seconds. The fact that you watch it from the start to end.
He sticks around, yeah.
The fact that you watch from this is the algorithm's like, oh, he likes this content. He's watching it. So let me just give him more. Stop watching it. Okay. Don't even like the video.
Right. It's not a conspiracy. Algorithms do not have personality.
Yeah.
So they really are just reacting to your behavior. So you just got, if all these baddies, as Simphiwe calls them, are just pitching up all day, it's because of you like it. And Dogoza says, if I had a TikTok page, best believe it would be baddies all day, every day.
I told you.
Yeah.
But that would be for him. Everyone's different.
The TikTok algorithm works like that. Are you male? Do you have a penis? Are you straight? Here are some bums for you. It isn't quantum physics. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, Tracy Bard, this is a joke that no one on the show except me will get this morning. I know who hates TikTok. Milli Vanilli, watching everyone getting famous for lip syncing. So Milli Vanilli, because look at Simphiwe's face. She's like, who the hell are you talking about? Milli Vanilli were this band that were famous in the late 80s, 88, 89, somewhere around there. Had a couple of songs. Turned out that they weren't even singing. They were just lip syncing the songs. They had other people singing, and they were just taking the songs and they were performing them. And people thought they were the biggest crooks ever. Everybody like burnt their, I think at that stage it was like records and cassettes. This is a long time ago. And they were like, oh, screw Milli Vanilli. They're like these are the most dishonest people in the music world. And now these guys are watching TikTok going, but everybody's doing it now. So that's why they keep coming up. Look up Milli Vanilli. You'll be thrilled.
Sure.
Yeah. Simphiwe, the whole thing. They had a song called Blame It on the Rain. Let me find a picture of them for you quickly. Milli Vanilli. They were a big deal for a while. They had some really good songs. And people loved them. And then suddenly they found out that they were actually just lip syncing. And their popularity went down the toilet. Milli Vanilli. You've never heard of them either, Ryan, have you?
No. Unfortunately not.
See, guys, this is what I have to deal with. All these millennials.
Dari had to deal with this yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, you asked Dari about Milli Vanilli. She does that 80s show, so she would,
yes.
She would be all over Milli Vanilli. But they I promise you, they used to be a very big deal. They were people loved them. They were important. Everybody wanted to know what they were up to. They were like the original. They weren't rappers. They were singers. But then it turned out they weren't even singers. This is what they looked like, by the way. These two.
Oh wow!
Nothing like what
That's extraordinary.
I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Neither of their voices anything like what you thought.
White guys.
No, it was two black dudes. Yeah.
Oh no! They look like those guys who I think is it Vanilla? Like his kind of music, like.
No, it's not Vanilla Ice. No. You're thinking.
Yeah, but like from that picture alone, that's kind of what they give me.
Your homework for today. You're both going to be in the office this morning. Yes. Go onto YouTube and go and watch Milli Vanilli. Okay.
I shouldn't just TikTok it.
I wouldn't know how to do that. Just go do TikTok it, but I don't know if they're going to do that. And then I want you to at least listen to 3 of their songs, all right? And then you can feed back and tell us what you think.
Report back.
We can talk about this. Yeah.
Okay.
Get back on. All right. So a couple other things we got to get to. I overheard somebody in the office yesterday talking about Mash's dating, which continues. And he didn't bring this up on Monday, but apparently he was walking around his complex in a dressing gown. In a gown. No, I didn't listen. I didn't listen to any detail, but I heard Simphiwe and Dari laughing, and there's always someone talking in the office. And I don't know how you guys get any work done, but I was listening into this for like all of 2 seconds, and I heard this story about Mash walking around in a gown. Now,
Yeah.
is it acceptable to walk out of your front door in a gown, even if it's just to collect like Mr. Delivery or Uber Eats?
If you have pajamas on and it's super early, I think it's okay. I'm one of those people. There's like almost a grace period.
Remember we
so if
spoke
it's like-
about we spoke about how people were going to Spa and they actually had to issue that
No.
that warning to say, please don't come into our store in slippers and a dressing gown.
But
right?
Spa is also going through something. Like Spa also had a notice thing like, hey, we're closed because our employees were drunk this weekend. So Spa is really going through something. Like, it's not okay. But for me personally, I'm just like, there's a grace period. I think maybe between 6 and 8 in the morning. I understand why you're not fully dressed. You know, you just woken up, you quickly want to take the trash out, or you just want to get some bread real quick. I understand. Anything after that, I'm looking at you a bit sus, especially at night. I'm
what's
like,
your cut-off time?
6 and 8 in the morning. That's the only time I can accept you looking extremely crusty. It makes sense. It makes sense. You in your PJs, you're in a gown, you haven't washed, you just look like a mess. It makes sense. I can't judge you. I will mind my business. Whatever you're buying, I'm like, okay. Anything after that, why are you leaving the house like that? Excuse me? No. Respect us.
Sharon says it's full on public, not okay. So, okay, that's what we got. Mash is giving some serious Sia vibes, says Ntogozo. That's probably true.
Gareth,
There are some
I will
similarities.
say this. You
Yeah.
must ask Smash why he was wearing his gown out and about, because it has to do with another somebody, and we're trying to give him like advice to be like, can you just see
You see,
how
I didn't
you
want to
played
listen. I didn't want to listen to the detail. Just to the detail because I
the
want
role
him to
that
tell
you
us.
yes
Yeah, I
yes
want him-
yes but
I want him to tell us on
there's
the
a
show.
story
Right.
behind that gown. That's all I
But
will
yeah,
say. There's a
So
story.
Simphiwe has made the rule this morning. Now everybody knows we don't need to talk about this for hours and hours. The rule is 6 to 8 in the morning. It's acceptable. Anytime after that, no crustiness, please. That's what we've heard. Okay?
Done. That's
All
the
right.
rule.
Very good.
Live by it and you'll be happy. You'll be happy.
There we
Life
go.
is going to be so
Very,
much
very good.
simpler.
All right. So we've now got rules. This is what the show's for. It's to help us figure out how to make more of our lives and to make better decisions so that we're not embarrassed. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is by popular demand. Jane Malachi. There she is. Our own Jane Malachi. She's the main office manager at cliffcentral.com. She runs things there. She also takes care of all of our guests. Yesterday, she did a terrific job by welcoming a guy called Johann Hari, who's a famous international author, to the show. And she's really met everybody. You can go and follow Jane on her social media as well, where she's constantly busy updating things. Jane, how's your Instagram fame coming along?
I do very well on my Instagram.
Mhm.
Actually,
Is it
I do have a lot
growing?
of followers.
Mhm.
Even you, Papaji.
I follow you, and I often like your stuff, especially like it when you post pictures of you with all these celebrities that you've met at Cliff Central.
Yeah, because I just want to remind myself that I met them.
Now, of course, it's very good, and who wouldn't do that? Now, Jane, we do have some serious business this morning, and I want to get the serious business out of the way so people can start sending us emails. And this is really, it's an audition for you for a new job, but it's also an audition for who you might want to work for, because you're not just anybody. And if someone wants to hire you, we need to check them out as well. We're not just going to let you go and work for someone who's a terrible person. So
That's true.
let's go through it. So Jane is in charge of the office at Cliff Central. She's very good with people. I'll give you her little CV. She's okay at cleaning. It's not her best thing. I wouldn't say she's the best cleaner in the world, but she's brilliant with people, and she's completely trustworthy. And if you're looking for someone who will bring a smile to your face every day and make your office or home feel like it's a lively, wonderful, happy place, then I cannot recommend Jane enough. On the other stuff, I don't know that I want to get involved in recommending too much. I mean,
Oh my God, Papa.
we've had
I was
so
not
many
making no me.
No, well, we've talked about the toilets at Cliff Central until we're
Oh my
blue in the
God.
face. I know you hate that. I don't want to get into too much of that because you have fights with people all the time about toilet paper, the way they leave the loo. She's not afraid to stand up for herself. Let's just put
Actually,
it that way.
I hate the people who don't like themselves, who just left shit, you
I
see,
know.
stuff like that. Yeah, that's me. I think you
All
have
right.
to learn how to clean after yourself. I know that
So,
I'm
Jane,
here to clean. But
Congo Chris already says halala, Mama Jane halala. They're people who are already like big fans. But let's be reasonable about this. You're not looking for a job anywhere. You live in Alex. You live in Sandton, so you're not going to travel to Boksburg or Krugersdorp or Pretoria or any of those places. So we're gonna be reasonable about this. Let's keep it to Sandton, right? That's where you're looking.
actually, I'm looking for because I'm working here for 2 days now, I'm looking for 3 days job.
So we're looking what will Rivonia be suitable? So like you could do both your jobs in Rivonia, you could do our stuff and someone else, or are you? How far are you prepared to go here? Because transport's ridiculous now. Transport's very
especially these days the transport is ridiculous. But I'm willing to take whatever they put on the table for me because now I'm struggling a lot because I'm here for 2 days and I'm not working for 3 days.
Sure.
So I was hoping
and everything's very expensive. We've got school fees, we've got
and the bread is
rent,
too expensive.
groceries, exactly. So I mean, so you're looking for 3 days a week. What would that be? Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Yeah.
All right. If you're a serious contender, send me an email. Send it to contact@cliffcentral.com and we will pass it on to Jane. Now, Jane, what do you think your great qualities are? And what kind of job are you looking for here? Don't just say anything. What sort of people do you like working for?
You know, I'm a loving person, Gareth. Usually, I love to do whatever you can challenge. You know, any challenge I can just take. Yeah.
You're not afraid to get your hands dirty. You're not afraid to get things in order when they're a mess. That's fair. But what kind of people do you really like, Jane? Do you like people who are bubbly and fun, or do you like people who are quiet?
You know, sometimes you can't judge a book. Like, I think if anyone who has maybe you need like a office cleaner or tea lady, right? Because I'm good with looking after people, actually.
Very good. That I will give you.
And even old people, if you have an old woman that you want me to look after, I'm there. Yeah, I can do that.
There we go.
Because I did that before.
So we're really just giving you a very much watered down version, but Jane has many, many skills. And if you think that you need someone with Jane's skill set to work for you this morning, then send us an email and we'll put you in contact with her. And then from there on, it's up to you guys. Contact@cliffcentral.com. Jane, I need to ask you about some of the people in the office now. Is anyone giving you trouble at Cliff Central at the moment? Who's your favorite and who's at the bottom of the list right now?
Simphiwe, you're not my favorite. Don't do that.
I knew it, Simphiwe. I knew.
Don't do that. You're not my favorite.
I'm so hurt. You can't even lie. You can't just make me feel special.
Is she near the bottom or the top at the moment, Jane? Because she changes place a lot.
You know, you can't trust Simphiwe. That's the main thing. You can't trust Simphiwe. She changed like a robot. Tomorrow she can be like this. Tomorrow she can be. You see, that's the thing about Simphiwe. You will never know Simphiwe.
Are you glad that Ben comes in every now and then? You and Ben have always got along. Yeah.
I still need to sit down with Ben and talk to him. You remember at the time Sia resigned, Ben put on the Instagram and say, "Oh my God, Jane, you are the only one who left at Cliff Central because you don't have anywhere to go. Look who's back. The same Ben." Like, seriously?
Jane, this is a bit of a theme. I mean, every time anyone leaves, Jane gets very upset. She's very loyal. And Jane has been with us from the beginning. I think you and Greg are the only two who are there from day one, right?
Because Ben say we don't have anywhere to go.
Well, that's just very rude of Ben because he's back,
But
as you said.
Who came back?
But
Ben.
you've often got angry with people when they leave. I mean, Simphiwe was with us for a while, and then she went off, and then she came back, and you didn't like that. You thought she'd been disloyal.
I'm always telling Rina that don't trust her. Even now, I'm still standing with that. And I'm not going to play with that. I told Rina, don't trust them. You can't trust them, Papaji.
Well, we've got lots of people asking you questions here. So first of all, Alan says, Jane, I hope you find what you're looking for in the job. So that's very nice, Alan.
Thank you.
Mongezi wants to know, Jane, did you like Mbulelo when he was around?
Sure,
Tell the truth.
First one.
You can say whatever you like.
Sure, Mbulelo. Hey, you know Mbulelo is a sheet of peace, actually.
Oh.
Mbulelo can be Mbulelo.
Wow.
Like, I'm just saying not this because he's not around. He knows. I was always telling him this, that Mbulelo, whoever you're going to work to, let's hope they're not gonna tolerate shit because Mbulelo,
Okay, so we've gone down that road. Who's your favorite in the office at the moment? Is it Homolemo? Is it me? Is it Dory?
Mash.
Who's your favorite right now? Mash?
You know, I think Mesh, because he's bringing that thing of Sia. You see, yeah.
He's got some swag.
Yeah, you see Mesh and we can tolerate each other. Yeah. And you, Papaji, because you just throw some shit on me like all the time. But
that's nice of you, Jane. It's always the compliments that I live for. Jane, you make very, very strong coffee for me yesterday. I didn't get to sleep until 2 a.m.
Yeah, Papaji, I want to apologize. Papaji, I told you to forgive me because I changed the cup and I gave you the small cup and I put like a strong coffee. Just imagine, I wanted to give you a heart attack.
Bantu says you should start your own podcast called A Shit of Peace. I think that's a good idea.
That's a good one.
Tracy has some very interesting comments here for you, Jane. Tracy says, my Jane needs to have her own segment like Dr. Hanan does. Dish out honest, what you need, not what you want, advice. Her insight into the human psyche is astounding. So it's a very good compliment in for you. Just Plain Jared says, imagine getting into a fight with this chick. Yeah, so
don't do it.
And I'm not a fighting person.
No.
Yeah, but your words, Austin. Yo, your words can knock a man down. Austin has the vocab to.
I heard you on the phone yesterday talking to Devesh, who runs the building. You didn't mince your words with him either.
Simphiwe was there.
He's scared of you.
Simphiwe, you heard what Devesh said to me.
What?
You know, he was like, those people, they have job to do. They can't just come to Cliff Central if you want them to come. I asked him nicely. I was, Devesh, please can you just tell one of your guys to come and put the clock on top of the wall? Yo, Papaji.
Who was that? So who was that old Madala who you used to argue with who worked for Devesh? Gift. Now, every time Gift came to the office, Jane would be so rude to him. I mean, he was an
I can
old
find
man.
a job if you say I'm rude.
No,
Now you just.
Let's be honest here. When you used to say
why do you think I can find a job when you say I'm rude?
You used to say to Gift every time he walked into the building, you'd say, "Ha, are you still working? You're too old. You must retire." That's
but he was so old. He was over 60. Look at us, young people. We're looking for a job. And old Madala still stick in that job. That's not fair. Young children in South Africa, they don't have job. You get him pension or go home and eat your pension. Serious, Papaji. There's young children who are looking for a job, but you stuck there. You can't clap even on the step ladder. Serious.
Were you worried that he was too old and he would have hurt himself?
Yeah, Otherwise, if you broke your bone, you will never heal. You're gonna be in the old chair for the rest of your life.
So has Gift finally retired, Jane? He has stopped working. I think he took your
Thank
advice.
God, because he listened to me. And now, Babaji, if Simphiwe left Cliff Central, please don't ever allow him to don't ever allow her to come back, because they take advantage, because they can left and come back.
Jane, I mean, no, hold on. I'm going to just correct you here, because this is something you've got a bad attitude about people who leave and come back. Jane, people are allowed to change their mind. You're allowed to go work. I mean, we don't mind if you work somewhere else 3 days a week. So why would we have a problem if Simphiwe, who's a young woman,
these people, they resign.
She wants to get experience somewhere else. I mean, this is
look at her smile, because you're defending. Look at her smile. The way she's smiling, she just say, "Oh, Gareth Cliff is there for me." Don't be proud of yourself.
Jane, more people have questions for you. It's not often we have you on the show, because you've come in specially today, because we're going to try and find you a job. So, all right, did Jane? This is from Kevin. Kevin wants to know: did Jane look after Skolopat when she came in that morning? Were you here when Skolopat came in?
You remember she was sleeping here and she didn't have money to go back home. She couldn't even spell Gareth. I was like, oh my God.
Skolopat, is she still a thing? Does anybody know? Simphiwe, Ryan?
She's a professional nurse.
No.
She's a nurse now.
Yeah, she's still a nurse. She was always a nurse. That was the shock.
But now she's a professional and she got married by this rich man.
But now Skolopat, she was there for an interview with us, and she was great. She was really entertaining. But then she went to sleep on the sofa in the office, and you had to wait. Did you wake her up, or who was it who woke her up?
I did, and she was like, she don't have money to go back home. I was like, hey, yo, what kind of celebrity are you? I know that celebrity that's struggling, but when you are worse.
Congo Chris says, I will pay Mum Jane to walk around with me and be honest like this to people around me.
I can just be a bodyguard.
Yeah, you see, but some people don't like the honesty, hey? Sure.
Yeah, that's true, Babaji.
Yeah. Saint says Gift is actually working in secret for them. So Gift does have a job.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know, Jane, Gift is back on the job, even though it's not at Divesh's office.
Maybe Divesh hide him.
You think so?
I think so.
All right. So let's see here. Some other people saying their favorite line is "Go home and eat your pension." I like that. That's very good. Jane, here's a question from Tracy. Who was your favorite celebrity who came to Cliff Central? Who's your favorite, and who did you think was the worst?
You know, my favorite celebrity was AKA. Oh, that guy, he's so nice. Okay. He's not other, like, you know, other celebrity, when you take the picture with them, you can see their faces. They just force themselves, man. But AKA, he was so friendly, like, talking to everyone. Even me, I met Lina. He was like, please, can you come? Let's come and take a picture.
Right.
Yeah. Even Julius Malema.
And Julius was nice?
He was so nice because it's Mkaya.
Yeah, right. He's also from Limpopo like you. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, Jane, how's it going in Limpopo with that house of yours with the snakes in the roof?
Oh my God, Papa G, I still have snake in my house. And now the snakes stay in my house.
Oh my God.
On top of the roof. I'm telling you.
Wait, they're in the house?
Yeah.
Snakes that are living in the roof of her house in
Jane.
Limpopo. Not the
my
one
mom
here.
have to move to my house. She can't stay there anymore.
Jane, who's the worst celebrity that you met?
Yo, Marapapachi, I can't mention the name. That's gonna be rude.
Can't. No, I mean, who didn't impress you? You don't have to say that they're a terrible person. They just you weren't impressed by them.
A lot of people, eh? It's just because I can't mention their name. I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Drop one, Jane.
Just one.
They're not listening. Don't worry.
Just one.
No, I know that I'm an honest person.
There we go. She's building up.
Yeah, you're making it spicy, Jane. You have to drop one. Just one.
I
Jane.
can't.
No, come on, you can. We're giving you all the room you need. Just go for it. No one's going to get upset.
No, but like seriously, like if you're a celebrity, we understand that you are a celebrity, but you don't have to come here with that attitude to show that, you know what, I'm a celebrity. I'm known by all those people in the country. Yeah, we know you, but don't give us attitude. Even as we are human being.
Right. Are we talking about someone local, South African celebrity, or are we talking
South
about
African?
Is it a man or a woman?
Women there was.
Come on,
Is
Jane.
it-
One name, please.
Is it
One name.
is it a
You see,
black, white, or colored woman?
She was the nicest one. Oh my God, that one. She was
Pearl
so
Tuki we
nice.
like. Right, we like Pearl.
Okay.
Yeah,
She was
we
so
like.
nice.
All right, so is it a black, white, or colored woman?
Black.
Ooh. Is it a famous TV personality? DJ?
A TV personality. Yeah, even Minute. I feel Minute Lamini, she was pretending. I saw her face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
Here's
can
one
see.
name.
Okay.
Yeah. I know
Didn't
that
like
she's
her.
nice, but she was pretending.
Oh. Okay, so she's not on your favorite list.
No,
This is
it's not that she's not my favorite. It's those people, Babaji, you can see that they forced in themselves.
You don't have to make excuses, Jane. You're allowed your opinion.
Yeah.
You're allowed. You don't have to worry. So, okay, Jane, Snae wants to know, please ask Jane how she feels about Damon. We haven't had Damon's name come up for a long time on the show.
For a long time ago.
How do you feel about him?
You know, I was asking Dori day before yesterday about Damon, how he is, how he's doing. He's still doing the perfume company. I think Damon needs some prayers, yeah? Yeah. I'm telling you, Papa Chi. It's just because you don't know the way you're taking care of people. Once they left Cliff Central, they becoming. I don't know.
What happens to a lot of people's lives and careers once they leave us?
Miserable shame. Miserable. Let's speak about Damon first. What he's doing now?
Yeah.
I wish if he was listening right now, I was gonna tell him straight to his face and say, "You are not supposed to listen to your wife.
Oh,
you are supposed to stick with Gareth Leaf." Look at me, I'm still stuck with Gareth Leaf. Look at Ben, he came back. Even though after he wrote about me on Instagram and say, "Oh my God, Jane, you are still there because you don't have anywhere to go."
Jane, you never forget, hey? If people write something like that about you, never forget, hey? Wow.
Papa Chi, I did the screenshot.
Yo!
I did the screenshot. But you know what I wanted to do?
Man.
At the time I saw Ben come every day, I knew that he's looking his job back. And I wanted to print that thing and put on the window here. When he's doing show, he can read all the time. Yes. Go to Sis Instagram, you will see.
All right. So someone else asked here, how are you getting along with Alan Ford? You and Alan Ford, you used to produce his show for him. How do we feel about Stootla
Mafetle? Me and Stootla, we love each other, even though we fight. But Alan is my favorite, and we understand each other.
You get along with,
and you can see that Alan, he's not pretending.
Yeah. No, you don't like fake people, hey?
I don't like fake people.
Yeah, that's the worst. Because then you don't know what you're dealing with.
You see, they can bite you. It's like a snake.
Yeah.
Like
I've also got to say, Jane, a lot of people have been complimenting you on your outfits. You wear very nice, colorful outfits when you come to the office in the mornings. You always make everybody smile. And a lot of people want to know, here's Tracy says, Jane would be the perfect the next Joan Rivers and critique red carpet outfits. So you would tell people whether you think that their outfits at movies and so on were good. Do you often go out and criticize other people's outfits if you don't think they look good?
You know, sometimes I do that. I remember one day we had a party where we stay.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. This girl almost killed me. She was so angry with me. You know, when you talk to one person, other one tell that one, other one tell that one, and they told her, and she came to me and she confronted me. I didn't say, I told that one that your dress was so horrible, because she was so angry. She was so angry. And I felt like, you know what, let me just apologize.
Oh, so you apologized, but she was going to kill you.
She was going to kill me.
Jesus. Well,
I'm telling you.
Jane, someone wanted to know in the comments earlier, what did you think of Gord Laws? Did you like Gord? He's in Europe. He's in Europe at the moment. So
yes.
That's why my toilet is always clean. You know, I'm surprised. I'm surprised when my toilet is always clean. Serious, I haven't seen any.
Oh my.
I'm
like, Jane.
Seriously?
He's lost a lot of weight, Jane.
He lost a lot of weight.
Yes.
Lots.
He's looking very fit and
much thinner. Much thinner. Yeah. She doesn't believe us, by the way.
I don't believe that. Actually, I have to see the pictures first.
You can
I'll
go
show you pictures after the show.
Go on his Instagram and you'll see, Jane.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words, Jane? We're looking for a job for you. People love your personality. I'm sure that there's plenty of opportunity for someone like you. You can definitely let us know. If you're interested in giving Jane a 3-day job, she can do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and you can send us an email, contact@cliffcentral.com, and we'll see what we can do.
And I'm not rude. I'm a nice person to work with.
Not at all. You've never been rude.
If you want to know about me, just ask Papa G.
That's why we got you on the show. It's the best place for you to advertise.
Thank you, Papa G.
All right, Mum Jane, have a lovely day. And just so people know, what time do you have to wake up to be at the studio? And how much do the taxis cost from where you live in the studio? Just out of curiosity.
I remember last week, I went to the taxi. I was holding 60 rand. Can you believe when I get into the taxi, they said the taxi now is 30 rand to come to Rivonia because I'm taking 2 local. The other one, that site is 15 rand. And I have to take the 30 rand to come to Rivonia. Babaji, I was like, oh my God, I don't have money to go back home.
Yeah,
I asked everyone in the office to donate me.
The petrol price is very, very bad at the moment. They did say, Jane, that they're going to bring the petrol price down, but usually the taxis don't bring their prices down. Hey?
You see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
They never do that.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
Never.
All right, so there we go. The great Jane Malachi, and it's always good to have you on, Jane. Thank you very much for being on the show this morning. And we hope we'll find a job for you. We'll have to see. Maybe there's somebody who's watching this now who desperately needs you in their life, and this could be, the perfect collaboration. Who knows?
Yes, I will appreciate that.
Very good. There's Jane. A lot of people saying bring Jane back for a weekly segment. The truth is, I mean, you know what? We'd be in huge trouble with the Broadcasting Complaints Commission if we every single week. But there's some truth. If anybody wanted to know what's really going on in the office at Cliff Central, now you know all the stories, everybody, and I'm sure that there are plenty of other stories that she's saving for another day. But Jane has seen it all. She really has. From celebrities walking in with attitude to celebrities falling asleep on the sofa and not having money for transport. She's seen it all. She's seen a disaster in the bathrooms. She's seen people behaving very badly. She knows everything. She knows the whole story. So there we go. All right. That's all we got time for this morning. Ryan, Simphiwe, we will see you guys in a few days' time. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Remember, I said if we don't get like 50 reviews on Apple Podcasts, then we're just not going to arrive for the show tomorrow morning. So,
And
Simphiwe,
Spotify.
and Spotify, make sure that, do it all. Because if we don't get 50 of those, I promise you, we won't start the show tomorrow. That'll be the end. So if you want it to happen, that's all I ask. And you have to do it once. That's all. I'm not going to ask you to do this every day. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have an excellent Wednesday. I hope it's very productive. I hope you get lots done. And I hope that, like I said, sitting here in a T-shirt, I'm optimistic that we've seen the worst of winter behind us. But let's see. I'm not going to promise things I can't deliver. All right, cheers. We'll see you later.